Bartolomeu Dias was a Portuguese explorer and the first European to sail around the Cape of Good Hope, or the southern tip of Africa. He proved that a sea route could be established between Asia and Europe, allowing the spice trade to prosper by sea. I will tell the tale of Dias's discovery through three key maps. Firstly, the Fra Mauro map, from around 1450. The map appears to be upside down. It is certainly not a traditional orientation, orientated south. But our modern world maps, orientated north, could also be seen as unconventional. The word orientation comes from the Latin orior, to rise. The sun rises in the east. The traditional orientation of maps is actually to the east. Fra Mauro, alongside many other things, justifies this on his map. I do not think it derogatory to Ptolemy if I do not follow his Cosmographia, because to have observed his meridians or parallels or degrees, it would be necessary in respect to the setting out of the known parts of this circumference, to leave out many provinces not mentioned by Ptolemy, but principally in latitude, that is from south to north. He has much terra incognita, because in his time it was unknown. Here is the map flipped. You can see Asia in the right half, Europe in the top left, and Africa in the bottom left. The map tries to be geographically accurate. Fra Mauro depicts Japan on the far east, and realises that Jerusalem is not in the centre of the world, as it is often portrayed in maps of this era. He justifies this as well. Jerusalem is indeed the centre of the inhabited world latitudinally, though longitudinally it is somewhat to the west, but since the western portion is more thickly populated by reason of Europe, therefore Jerusalem is also the centre longitudinally, if we regard not empty space, but the density of population. The reason why the map of Fra Mauro, who prided himself on accuracy, is so important is that it shows the Indian Ocean to not be landlocked 29 years before it is proven not to be. How could Fra Mauro be so sure that it wasn't? The second map I have chosen is based off Ptolemy's Geographia, similar to the map which Winchester College owns in the background. It shows a landlocked Indian Ocean in 1482, 6 years before Dias sailed around the Cape of Good Hope, and 32 years after Fra Mauro's map. However, the landlocked Indian Ocean is not the only mistake. Someone has accidentally written Tropicus Cancri on the Tropic of Capricorn, and someone else has corrected it in a slightly different ink colour. This map by Enlicus Martellus was made in around 1490, roughly 2 years after Dias sailed around the Cape. It is based off Ptolemy's writings, but with one major difference. The map does not show a landlocked Indian Ocean. The news that Dias had sailed around the Cape of Good Hope had clearly reached the cartographers. The Cape sticks abruptly out of the map's perfect border. The map is also important as it is one of the last maps before Columbus's discovery of America. Columbus discovered it in 1492, roughly 2 years after the map was made. Perhaps Dias's success spurred Columbus on for his one. So then, why did Fra Mauro show the Indian Ocean to not be landlocked? Luckily, he justifies his decision. Around 1420, a ship or junk from India crossed the Sea of India towards the Island of Men and the Island of Women off Cape Diab, between the Green Islands and the Shadows. It sailed for 40 days in a southwesterly direction without ever finding anything other than wind and water. According to these people themselves, the ship went some 2,000 miles ahead, until once favourable conditions came to an end, it turned round and sailed back to Cape Diab in 70 days. Fra Mauro shows the Indian Ocean to not be landlocked because he had reliable evidence that it was not landlocked. Dias wasn't actually the first to sail around the Cape. Just like how Columbus wasn't the first to cross the Atlantic, the Norseman Leif Erikson was. So then, why was Dias important and why do we remember his name? If he didn't sail around the Cape first, he spurred on Columbus. But if Columbus didn't cross the Atlantic first, he has no outstanding achievements. I would suggest that the reason that he is important is that he is a convenient name to place to the achievement, rather than simply a junk from India. He allows us to simplify our history and our world. Thank you for watching this video about Bartholomew Dias and the Cape of Good Hope. If you enjoyed it, or any of my other videos, then please like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and visit my website, godress.wixsite.com/cornucopia.